channel. I'm a new Kathiresan, doctor, mom, fertility physician, and doing all that I can to spread fertility education on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. So feel free to follow me on any of those platforms if you're on them. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're new to my channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing and checking out more of my fertility education. And if you've been here, thank you so much for following along. So we're going to do another Doctor Reacts video. We're going to do friends again. I know I've done a few of them now, but there's a lot of great material here in the show. And so I'm excited to do another one, but definitely leave me recommendations for other shows and we'll get to them soon. So let's get to friends.
Wow. Fortunately, she has a very pretty face.
Oh, I still can't believe this. My uterus is an inhospitable environment. I was tried so hard to be a good hostess.
Well, I can't believe my sperm have low motility because let me tell you, while I was growing up, they sure seemed to be in a hurry to get places. Hi there. Hi.
Hi.
Well, I'm sorry there wasn't better news from your test last week, but I wanted to talk to you about your options.
Okay.
Well, first of all, even though your chances of conceiving through natural means aren't great, you never know. So keep having sex on a regular basis. Ah, damn it!
Don't worry. After a while, you'll tune it out.
Well, given your situation, the options with the greatest chances for success would be surrogacy or insemination using a sperm donor.
Okay.
And, of course, if you feel that neither of those is right for you, you could always adopt. Is that a hint? Because we love you, Dr. Connolly, but we don't think we want you to be our child. Wow, talk about an inhospitable environment.
Okay, so this scene does not quite make sense to me because of the recommendations being given. So let's go over gestational carrier versus surrogate and what that means. So gestational carrier is when a woman is carrying a pregnancy, but the genetics of the pregnancy is coming from two other individuals, so who we call the intended parents. So the egg and sperm are coming from the intended parents, but the gestational carrier is simply carrying the pregnancy and she's not genetically related to that pregnancy. So another term to use is gestational surrogate. So that is that concept. So a surrogate or a traditional surrogate is when the woman carrying the pregnancy is also genetically related to the offspring because she donated her egg that resulted in that pregnancy. So, you know, the terminology is a little bit confusing here, but I'm assuming they're talking about gestational carrier or gestational surrogate. And when is that recommended? So that's recommended when there is some issue with the uterus for some reason. So examples would be if there's some abnormality of the uterus, let's say multiple fibroids or significant adhesions, that there's concern that the uterus would not be able to implant a pregnancy and carry a pregnancy. If a patient did not have a uterus, sometimes that can happen if the woman had some issue in the past that required the uterus to be removed, or sometimes women are born without a uterus. So that's pretty rare, but if there is no uterus, then a gestational carrier is an option. Another reason is if the woman had significant medical conditions, so some sort of severe medical condition that we're concerned about that patient even getting pregnant because of the complications that would result with the pregnancy, but also on the woman and her medical condition that she has. So that is another circumstance where a gestational carrier is recommended. The last situation would be in a same-sex couple. If two men were wanting to conceive, then they would need the uterus of a gestational carrier. So that's when a gestational carrier is recommended. So there's some issue with the uterus for whatever reason. Now, the other option being offered to this patient is a sperm donor. So sperm donor implies that the uterus is normal because we're going to be taking the sperm from someone who donated it and then putting it in the uterus. So if that's being recommended, that would imply the uterus is normal. So there's kind of a disconnect here with what they're recommending. A carrier, gestational carrier, and sperm donor, that whole storyline does not make sense to me. There may be something I'm missing, but I do think that part of the storyline is off, and those two things being recommended at the same time really don't make sense.
Hi, honey.
Hey, look, I brought a friend home for dinner. This is Zach from work.
Oh, Oh, of course. It's so nice to see you again, Zach.
You too. You guys haven't actually met before, but boy, you're both polite. Why don't you have a seat, Zach? I'll get you a beer.
I got it.
Thanks. So, Zach's pretty nice, huh?
Yeah, I guess.
So, how would you like to have a baby that's half yours and half his?
Excuse me?
Well, we're talking about sperm donors, and Zach may be the guy. I mean, look, he's intelligent, he's healthy, he's athletic. I mean, he's spermtastic.
Taylor, this is crazy. What did you even say to him? Come up, meet my wife. Give us your sperm.
No, I invited him to dinner so you could get a chance to get to know him, you know? I mean, if we go through a sperm bank, you never meet the guy, get to check him out.
Taylor.
I'm telling you, he's great. I mean, even if my sperm worked fine, I think he'd be the way to go.
I'm not going to be a part of this. You can't just bring some random guy home and expect him to be our sperm donor.
Okay. Zach? Thanks. You have a coaster? I don't want to make a ring.
Tell me about yourself, Zach.
So let's go over when sperm donors is recommended. So usually that's recommended if there's some issue with the sperm. For example, if a couple has, or if a man has a very low number of sperm, very low number of moving sperm, and let's say the couple is not wanting to undergo the process of IVF, a sperm donor is an option. Another circumstance, if the man is not producing any sperm at all for whatever reason and no sperm is available, then a sperm donor is an option in that scenario also. Another circumstance where it's used is in a same-sex female couple. So in that circumstance, a sperm donor can be used to help achieve pregnancy. So that is when it's generally recommended. Now there is a scenario where it's anonymous. The man has given the sperm, does not know the couple. He has donated it to a sperm bank, has undergone all the evaluation and testing before, and so the sperm is ready to use at any time. That's the anonymous sperm donor. A known sperm donor is someone that is known to the couple, and that process is a little bit more involved. So the man has to give a specimen. The specimen has to be quarantined. This allows for him to have infectious blood work testing at the time the specimen was given and 6 months later, just to make sure there's no infectious disease present in that sperm specimen. So that is 6 months of time. So that can be more time consuming. There's legal considerations. There's psych evaluation also recommended in that scenario. So that process is a little bit more involved, but there are two kind of very different things. And so it's important to know what's involved when you make that choice between an anonymous sperm donor versus a known sperm donor.
Hey guys, dinner's ready.
Oh, I'm gonna go wash it up first. Thanks. So what do you think? I want this guy's genes for my kid. Those eyes, those cheekbones.
Okay, there's enthusiastic and there's just plain gay.
You don't like him?
I think he's fine. Just that we don't know anything real about him. Just we could get more information.
All right, just follow my lead.
You guys have such a great place here.
Oh, thanks. I'm crazy about our place. Hey, speaking of crazy, do you have a history of mental illness in the family?
No. Although I did have an uncle who voted for Dukakis.
That's really not the kind of thing we're looking for, Zach.
Okay. So tell me, how'd you guys meet?
Oh, friends first, drunk in London, you know the story. I've got a better question for you. Do you or any of your blood relatives have diabetes?
No.
Heart disease, Alzheimer's, gout?
You guys don't have people for dinner a lot, huh?
We're just making conversation.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I heard a joke today. It's pretty funny.
You know, it's not funny. Male pattern baldness.
All right, listen, you guys have shown a lot of interest in me tonight, and I'm flattered, and quite frankly, a little frightened. Can we just talk about something else?
Sure.
All right, good. Ravioli is delicious.
I notice you're enjoying that ravioli with a beautiful set of teeth. Did you have braces as a child?
No, I didn't.
Yes!
We're cheap people, Zach.
Okay, let's go over what's involved when a man is considering donating his sperm. There is an extensive evaluation process that is recommended by the FDA and also ASRM, the American Society of Reproductive Medicine. So some of the things that are included in that is the man's age. So there can be criteria regarding that. The medical history of the man. So we will go over personal history, family history, looking for if there's any genetic conditions that are hereditary that run in his family, and then also looking at his sexual history. We're screening if there's any risk for infectious diseases. Then he will have to undergo an examination, and a couple of the primary things there are infectious disease blood work. So we would want to check that at the time he's donating the sperm, and then 6 months later, and the sperm needs to be quarantined during that time. So the reason why we recommend that is if he were to contract an infectious disease around the time he donated the sperm, and if that test would be negative at that time but pop up positive 6 months later, that's what we're trying to make sure of, and make sure the sperm, there's no risk for an infectious disease there. So that is part of the process. And then he also it's recommended to do genetic testing. So we're again looking for any genetic conditions there. The last thing we look at is the sperm, making sure there's a good number in terms of the concentration, the motility, the morphology, making sure it's a good specimen before we would donate it to a couple. Now, in the known donor sperm situation, there's a couple more additional factors involved. So the psych evaluation that I mentioned earlier. So this involves seeing a fertility counselor, the couple and the man, just kind of going over the relationship there. And then if the man has a partner, so basically, involving everybody just to go over what's involved and potentially things to think about that could pop up in the future. So that's an important part of that in the known donor circumstance. And the other thing is legal consultation, just making sure everything's very clear in terms of guardianship with a legal consultation. So there is a very extensive process involved, and there's lots of screening for medical conditions, infectious diseases as part of that process. Thank you guys again so much for watching. If you like the video, don't forget to give the video a like, subscribe down below. Let me know if you like the video, if you have recommendations on other videos or shows you'd like me to comment on. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye guys.